When you talk about aliens and cover-ups, people sometimes make the very reasonable point that conspiracies are difficult to maintain, so it's hard to believe a worldview that hinges on many people keeping something very secret for a very long time. So we're going to talk a little bit about why it was possible for the cover-up of alien life to last so long in America and around the world. And we're looking back from a future in which aliens are normalized, and it sort of seems weird to us that it took you so long to accept that, but it is pretty understandable once you think about it. Point number one. Some conspiracies do last a really long time. Sometimes groups are able to keep things secret by forming sort of a social bubble that is responsive only to its own agendae and not to the broader social constructs around it. That is what happened in this case. Basically an 80-year, give or take, conspiracy of people who were passing along very important information and keeping it very secret because they thought it was quite important to do so, and we'll come back to that in a moment. How were they able to do this? The worldview was so heavily in their favor that that made it pretty easy. People really didn't want to believe that aliens were a thing, and also most of the evidence in their daily lives suggested strongly that aliens were not a real thing. So it was very easy for people to go on believing the normal version of the story, which was that aliens, if they existed, were very far away. They were definitely not here doing stuff. And if people asked for very serious evidence, which is again totally reasonable, they kind of couldn't have it because there's a catch-22 there where the conspiracy is covering that evidence up. And so the evidence to crack the walls of the conspiracy are therefore unavailable. The next point is that many people did come forward. They did things like confess on their deathbeds or leak to newspapers or just run out screaming about aliens, and those people generally faced severe social penalties, like they were either fired quietly from their military or academic institution, or they were laughed out of public respect. They basically saw their lives destroyed with regards to being credible authorities of any kind. And even the very serious people who've taken the UAP and the aliens and the UFO phenomena very seriously over the years have faced stiff headwinds and been generally laughed at even while they were doing what you might call God's work. So point there is people did come forward, they largely got ignored. Then you've got the problem of the military and intelligence apparatus. The people who were protecting this information had very powerful tools with which to do so. Some of them were legal, like non-disclosure agreements. Some of them were intelligence, like psyops and misinformation campaigns. Some of them were military, like straight-up threats of force. All those things combined for a very effective package of secrecy keeping. That, however, shouldn't make you think that necessarily everyone involved was a mustache-twirling villain out for corporate greed. Many of these people were patriots who thought they were doing the best thing for their country, for their world, and for their species. So a lot of the force that kept this alive generation after generation was this sense that it was a really important secret to keep, both for the stability of the world and for the advanced powers of the government that they were working for, and to avoid getting the military applications of this technology into the hands of who knows whom, who could do who knows what with it. Do you understand? They're trying to keep people safe. So you should think of the people trying to keep these secrets as thinking themselves that they're doing something very important. That's a key piece of the puzzle. Finally, there's this weird kind of embarrassment that goes along with humans accepting that aliens were on Earth. For a long time, basically as long as you've been thinking about aliens, they've been a faraway concept that you might see in hundreds of years. Maybe you'd catch a faint signal and be able to go through a wormhole. The idea that they were right behind you, looking at you the entire time is just like a little embarrassing and a little upsetting and a little discomforting, right? So it was hard to grok, and that's yet another barrier to really absorbing this information and normalizing it. Finally, economists have a joke that two economists are walking down a street and one of them sees a $100 bill and tells the other, hey look, a $100 bill on the ground. And the other economist says, no, that's not possible. Someone would have picked it up. Now, in the 2020s, you are in a phase when this conspiracy, as it is being revealed, is ending. So you are noticing this conspiracy and thinking, conspiracy charges, that's crazy. Someone would have noticed this conspiracy, but you're being told by the people who noticed. So those people are finally passing laws that allow them to speak openly and get access to more information. And that's ultimately a really good thing. The people inside these organizations want to share that information. That patriotism that was keeping the secret has moved on to a more open version of patriotic goodwill toward humanity at large, and trust in science and belief in civilization, ability to take this information on board and do something really positive with it. So you should be very happy that that's where you are in the heady days of 2023, just as this cosmic egg is starting to crack and you're about to make some really spacey omelets. So please give us your questions about UAP, aliens, the future, whatever. We'd love to answer them. We're very interested in this stuff too, and we hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, bye.